The energy's electric. Bills just clinched second seed. Home field against Pittsburgh, where we're going to be even more electric than this.
I know they started 6-6. It's not about how you start, though. It's about how you finish. They finished.
Everybody doubted us, and now it's our chance to win.
AFC East runs through Buffalo.
The expectations are Super Bowl or nothing.
Sean McDermott said it best. This team is the most resilient team in the NFL, and we're going all the way, baby. We're going all the way!
So those were the fans that were there at the airport. They must have thought that's when Joe Buscaglia's plane landed. They were all waiting to celebrate him and welcome home. But
my plane's bigger.
But it was actually the Bills. Yeah,
No.
Joe actually
no.
took a 747 by himself. He rented it out. That's how he rolls. And I was on, the American Eagle with 2 seats on one
I got
and one
slingshotted
row on the
from
other
Fort Lauderdale
side.
back to Buffalo.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Leading the Charge, Victory Monday edition. It is now playoff time. It is win or go home. And I love what Josh Allen was telling Stefon Diggs on the field as they're celebrating yesterday. He kept saying, 4 more wins. The division is nice, but 4 more wins separate this team from a Super Bowl. Now, when you consider that they've won 5 in a row, that would mean they need to win 9 straight to ultimately do that. But the question is, are they good enough to go on a run? I know there's a lot at stake here, and there's so many different variables, but I truly believe they are good enough to beat any team in the league and also inconsistent enough to lose any game that they play. How do you feel about them?
Well, right before I get to that, it's funny that they say to each other 4 more, but when they get in front of a microphone, it's, hey,
Next game up.
it's
Next
just,
game up.
we just think about one game at a time.
We're going to 1-0 this week.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I see what you're doing. Do I think they can go on? Do I think they could do the whole thing? I do. And to me, it really boils down to the path and the way that this path and how they have taken things under control for themselves, as well as how things broke around them. Mm-hmm. Because they could have gone into this game against Miami, and had Miami not gone 2-2 down the stretch, they wouldn't have had a shot at the AFC East, and they would have been playing for a wild card position. And also the fact that they got the win from the Titans, who knocked the Jaguars out, and then pushed the Titans into the 4 seed, which means, I'm sorry, the Texans into the 4 seed, which they'll play the Browns. That takes the Texans out of the equation for the first round matchup that they have. So now it's a path where the Bills are going up against the Steelers in round 1, conceivably should be a win. And then they're going to get a first in Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane history, probably. And that is to host a playoff game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Their postseason arch nemesis, the Chiefs, the team that has knocked them out multiple times now in dramatic fashion in one of them. To be able to play that team at home where they are 7-1 and they've lost only once this season. And that one was in a last-minute drive against the Denver Broncos that they probably should not have lost. So all of that. And then, on top of things, if they were to advance to the AFC Championship game, they would be going up against a Baltimore team who they have played incredibly tough the last 2 times they have gone up against them. The playoffs a few years ago, where they beat them in the wild card round, and then last year in Baltimore, before the Ravens suffered all those injuries. I know, different offensive coordinator, different circumstances,
It's Lamar.
but still, they have found a way to kind of limit what Lamar Jackson does. So what I wrote about at The Athletic last night, or early this morning, however you want to look at it, I don't know that they're ever going to be set up as well as they are this year. Think of everything that has happened in the AFC. Backup quarterbacks aplenty. There is no Joe Burrow lurking around the corner this year. He's out. Bengals are gone. He's hurt. So this is their best crack at it, I think. And if they let this one get away from it, I think a lot of people are going to look at this one as the one that got away.
I think that's probably fair. How about you?
I'm just having bad flashbacks to the 06 Sabres when the 8th seed came out of the Western Conference. We're sitting there going, things are falling really well for the Sabres to win the Cup this year, folks. No, look, I'm with Joe. I'm thrilled that they are the 2 seed instead of having to go on in a wild card game and maybe go back to Miami. It's a no-brainer to want to be home to play the Pittsburgh Steelers and not go back to Miami, and to know you'd have a second home game if you beat the Pittsburgh Steelers and whoever that is and all that stuff. So yes, Matt, are they good enough to do this? Of course they are. They're good enough to do this. There are things to be encouraged about. Are they playing at the top of their level of play? No, they're not. The offense for the last 3 games is a little bit of this, a little bit of that. They've been a little bit up and down, but the defense is playing its best ball of the season. Special teams has had some issues this year as well, but they just came up with the big play last night with Deontay Hardy. I like how things are coming together with them. I like what you guys talked about and the vibe you were getting and what you were seeing and hearing from these guys after the game last night, as opposed to, say, a year ago. Gas running out of the tank is not an issue. So I think there are a lot of things that are playing in their favor going into the postseason. Yes, of course, this team is good enough to pull off the run we thought they were going to do in 2021.
I think there's just so many playmakers that can take over a game that we have. Yesterday was about the guys that stepped up that we didn't expect to step up. Like, of course, Josh Allen went off in the second half. We never would have thought we would be talking so much about Deontay Hardy and Dalton Kincaid and Taylor Rapp and Khalil Shakir and all these guys. For me, Stefon Diggs had a really good game yesterday. He's capable of taking over a game. Josh Allen is capable of taking over a game. The defensive line is capable of taking over a game.
And the emergence of James Cook.
And the emergence of James Cook. I just think they have a lot of different ways that they can beat you. And I think, to your point, you've got Mason Rudolph coming to town. You better beat Mason Rudolph. And then
There's
after
a Christmas pun in there somewhere.
It wasn't meant to be. It was not meant to be. We're way past that. You ever watch Curb Your Enthusiasm? There's like the cutoff of when you can say Happy Holidays to somebody. I think we were way past that. Although my Christmas tree is still up. I got to take it down.
You're saying Rudolph is coming to town, so
Rudolph is coming to town. So I just think that this team is capable. That doesn't mean that they will. But as long as you've got Josh Allen, you've got a shot. And that's the thing for the Bills that they will always have, at least now and for the foreseeable future.